What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Two Truths and All Facts. I'm your host, CeCe, with my co-host here,
Ty Knight. What's going on?
and we're bringing you another episode of Two Truths and All Facts. Today, we got some juicy topics. I'm ready to get into it, so I'm going to have Ty go ahead and throw us into the fire.
All right, so we already know what everybody's been talking about, this whole Will Smith, Oscar scandal, Jada Pinkett, everybody's involved in this one. You know, you got Chris Rock getting the shit slapped out of him. You got Will acting like a clown. You got Jada over here talking about some healing this, healing that. And yeah, I guess that's the age we in right now. Everybody need a little bit of love. So what you think about that one? What's your whole opinion on Will and his move in the first place?
So my opinion just on that move and
just like yeah, because I know that's where it starts. Is like
right.
You got some people saying they would do the same thing. You got some people saying like they wouldn't do it in that situation. You got some people saying like they there's all types of things.
So I'm gonna do it like court style. I'm going to first give my opinion on the facts at hand, and then I'm going to give my opinion after I feel like some other things might have been factors that we don't know about. So, first of all, facts at hand, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock because he made comments or jokes, G.I. Jane jokes, which Jada had recently come out about her battle with alopecia. Those are the facts we have on hand, right?
That's what they say. That's what they say.
Going off of that alone, I was always taught words will not kill you. Words cannot physically hurt you.
Sticks and stones.
Right.
And stones.
So if we're going off of I hit someone because they said something mean, then obviously I'm not gonna agree with that, right? Like that, no one will, no one would. So that's how I feel about those facts offhand. Now, I personally feel like there are other factors in this. I don't think anyone in their right mind would genuinely slap someone off of a joke, right? I think that everything that Will Smith has been going through this entire year has played a hand in that slap. I personally think that slap was the straw that broke the camel's back. The media has been trying to play Will Smith all year, I'm going to use those terms. I feel like everybody has made Will Smith and Jada's relationship the joke of the year, I feel like. And so I feel like that, and probably with a little bit of those alopecia comments or jokes, really just kind of made this guy feel like, all right, I've had enough. And I still don't excuse the behavior. Like, it's never okay to hit someone unprovoked, right? And you shouldn't be provoked by words. Now, I will say, in my opinion, sometimes, if you've had enough, words can be the thing that just kind of breaks you. Like, and that's definitely not okay. And I feel like that's where we need to take the deeper look. But, yeah, to go back to that, off the facts alone, I don't think it's okay. Even with other factors I feel like could be a part of it, it's not okay. But I feel like it needs to have a deeper look into.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with you. Man, it's so hard. It's so hard because it's like, like half of me is like, yeah, I'll defend my girl, but the other half is me is like, where did the connection to the alopecia and all this even come from? Because I mean, like, I can get it. Like, okay, she's going through something personally, but this man made a joke about G.I. Jane. Like, she been wearing her hair short half her career.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she done rocked all types of hairstyles. She done literally, she started with Set It Off, and her hair was short. Like exactly. She was in, what was it, Jason's Lyric. Then she had grown her hair out, so it's literally been all spectrums throughout her career. So, I mean, to even say that was an insult or a joke, like, I mean, who wouldn't mind seeing Jada Pinkett in another movie? You get what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, as far as the joke, right? So when I first heard that, when I first heard like that was the reason like about alopecia comments, like, and that's not to. I just want to say, like, alopecia is not something to joke about. I personally know people who are affected by alopecia. And especially as, you know, I'm not even going to make it, like, about, like, gender roles because I know men who love their hair as well. Yeah. Like, I know a few people who suffer from alopecia, and it is a harsh reality to realize, like, okay, I can't grow my hair the way I've been growing it or you know, if I cut it off, this might be the last time. You know, it's a lot of stuff that really comes with having alopecia, so it's not something to joke about. But do I think that Chris Rock knew that? No. And then also,
that's what I'm saying.
Like you said, Jada has been wearing short hair. Like, we all have seen her at some point with short hair. So even if she did have alopecia, I think it would be extremely easy for her to hide it if she wanted to. Because she is known for having short hair. She's one of the women in Hollywood who has rocked short hair multiple times, looks good rocking short hair. So she could have hid that if she wanted to, you know? And then my other thing is, how many comedians have said worse?
Right?
You know, I dare somebody.
I feel like his career is built off of worse jokes than that. You know what I'm saying?
Gosh. I instantly after that, I was like, man, rest his soul. But if Bernie Mac was alive, I would love to see you go up there and slap Bernie Mac for something here. Or Dave Chappelle. Yeah. You know, Cat Williams. You know, comedy has always been raunchy. You know? I mean, I was recently watching DC Young Fly roast someone who came to the show and was just being outraged. I mean, dude wore her out. She deserved it. But I mean, it's just like, if that's what we've come to, you know, of like, you willing, like, you know he's a comedian. You know, you know he's a comedian. So no matter what, he could have talked about your mama. You know, like, that's not what you do. Even if you felt some type of way, you talk to him later. Like, hey, could you like keep me out your set? Like,
and
hey,
see, I feel like it's the stage they were on. You know, because like we done seen some comics get ran out the hood. You know what I'm saying? Just because they ain't got the charisma, they ain't got the confidence, and like they low key like disrespecting. You know, there's all types of ways, but the ones who make it, I feel like the ones who have made it that far, like a Chris Rock, to make it to the Oscar stage, you know, like he understands the game he's playing, the chess game he's playing with people. You know, Dave Chappelle, who has had his document or had his last special taken off of Netflix, you know, like he's someone who understands like the chess game you have to play with the media and things like that. So I feel like, you know, you got to applaud Chris Rock for taking it how he did and rolling with it and bouncing back and continuing the show. Because a lot of people would have just like walked off. A lot of people would have chased his ass back down to his seat, you know, tried to kick his ass and shit. You know, so it could have gone a whole bunch of ways. Right.
And then, like, I also see, and this is, like, not making any excuses for Will's actions, because you just don't hit people. Like, you know, whether how you feel about Will Smith personally or Chris Rock personally, like, you know, you don't hit people unprovoked. It's just, you know, it's a lesson, because I do know, like, it is sometimes hard to not react off impulse, you know? Yeah. But I will say, like, this is what even makes me think, like, my theory, you could call it, or my opinion of there's other outside factors, is because if Chris Rock decided not to press charges, I feel like he felt a different way. You know, like, he probably feels like, damn, like, I can't believe Will Smith came up there on this stage, I'm hosting, I'm doing this, and he came and kind of violated me. You know, but I think I do think it does show his character, and I won't even say he's a bigger man. Like, you know, because people have been saying that, oh, he's the bigger man. You know, I think he did the most respectable thing. You know, but I feel like with all of that, he had to see, like, I think this brother's hurting. You know, I think something, because, you know, he could have fought him and been justified as self-defense. So he could have fought him and had no repercussions. Or he could have pressed charges if he didn't want to go that far. You know, if he could, like, he could have really pressed charges on him. So I feel like, and not to give any type of reaction to that behavior, like I felt like he really had to do some thinking within himself, like to be like, you know, to put himself in another position, because I know me, I'm the type of person, like, it wouldn't have gone down like that, or if I did choose the high road, I would have been thinking about that situation, like, you know, like I would have been thinking about my get back on that, like for how real. You know, like, and that's just my bitch, just being transparent. If it wasn't a physical get back, I was gonna get you back another way, like, and publicly.
That's the thing, like, he still hasn't really spoke to the situation, you know, so we don't really know how he was thinking, what he was thinking, what he was feeling. But I can imagine that if it's taking him this long to process it, like, he's definitely considered the fact that, like, he was going through some shit, like, that wasn't even, like, directed towards me, you know, type shit. And I don't think he's the, you know, like, he's done interviews about him getting jumped, beat up and shit, chased down his whole career. So I don't think he's the type of person who's gonna let his ego, you know, like, come into play here. And I can applaud him for that, because, like, the way I'm looking at it right now is this black man versus black man. Like, this is the shit they love to see. You know what I'm saying? This is the shit that, like, always gets hyped up to the point that most times, you know, somebody ends up dead, or somebody like ends up, you know, last time I can really imagine, like, a beef like this on a stage that big between two people had to be like a rap beef or something like that. You know, couldn't really, like, you don't really see it in a acting stage like this. So it's a different stage that white people just begin to let us in, as far as the Oscars and, like, all this respect that they had. It would.
I mean, Jada literally protested the Oscars. You know? And that's why I said, like, you know, my ultimate answer is no, it wasn't okay. But it's just, like, so much more, like, you know, even, you know, Chris Rock has talked about his, like, traumas and, like, you know, of being a victim of violence before. And then, like, also, you know, everything that has been, like, aired out about Will and Jada's personal relationship, and then, you know, their family. All of that is just, like, I feel like those are all factors into all of this. But it shouldn't have happened there, you know, like, if there was, like, an emotional, like, you know, who knows what happened in the Smith household before that, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it was an emotional night, like, I think, like, they should have either not come or make sure they knew, like, hey, this is important for so many other people.
I don't know. It's like sometimes,
because that's
like,
why
when you put it in that, like, situation though, like, I can understand. Like, there's a lot of times where, like, you know, situations get hype, or, like, you know, you be feeling some way at the wrong moment, and, like, shit just blows up, and then all of a sudden y'all gotta leave the house. Y'all can't talk about this shit for another 24 hours.
I think we've all been there, just like some super important something you gotta go to, and it's like, man, we just had the biggest argument before we have to publicly be somewhere. You know? And
that shit is heavy.
It's so heavy. It's so heavy. And it's like, and like I said, I'm not trying to, like, make excuses, but I just feel like so much went in, like, before for that to even happen, because the biggest thing I hate, you know, it's unfortunate that violence became a thing, but it's not like none of us have ever seen violence before, like, haven't seen violence. And I hate that, and all violence don't mean that you're a violent person either. Like, you know, because I've seen people, like, try to make Will Smith out as this, like, violent monster who just beats up on people. Like, can you name me instances of where Will Smith is beating up on people? Come on, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm like, come on, we gotta draw a line between actual reality and the internet wilding out. You know what I mean? Like, but
well, see, and I haven't too much, you know, seen those types of like.
Comments and stuff like that, yeah. And that's probably good. Saying? That means you have a good filter, and, you know, like, I be seeing all the BS on my timelines, and my mistake is I read comments, and I really shouldn't, because I feel like, you know, that's where the media trolls live.
You know, like, media is bad enough. So, media is bad enough without the trolls. Right. Once and that's what, you know, like, you can go on any video. I swear you can go on almost any black video on YouTube like with over 1 million views, and you gonna find some negative ass comments.
Right.
You know, no matter what. So I try to stay away from that shit.
And I mean, it's good because it protects your mental for sure. But going back to like the thing that kind of upset me most, like outside of all of this between like Will and Chris, is like the fact that it took away from some GOATs receiving their first Oscar, and Will Smith did that himself. You know, like just even looking at his career, the first movie that really, really moved me that he did was Pursuit of Happiness, and the fact that he didn't win an Oscar from that, it just kind of already shows you how Hollywood perceives things. You know? And so that was a special night, not only for him, that I felt like the thing that he should have been, that should have been like the limelight, got overlooked. Also, Samuel L. Jackson getting an Oscar got overlooked, and it was presented by Denzel Washington. You know?
That's kind of what I was hitting at.
I didn't even see that.
That's kind of what I was hitting at with, like, they've just began to like respect the black culture in these spaces, you know, because it was not, there was not a long time, or Will Smith has had a long career, let me say, and where he's done complex ass movies, complex roles, you know, as well as the funny shit, as well as the superhero stuff, you know. So it's crazy that this is his first chance to get an Oscar really for a great role, but then you miss out on Samuel L. Jackson, and we can attribute it to Will and Jada going through what they're going through, or Will just, you know, getting up there and slapping Chris Rock, or even Will Smith, like, getting his nomination and his award, you know. I don't know what's the reason it got overshadowed, but the fact that we missed that and Denzel was the one who presented it, like, that's really like a bold like accomplishment, you know. And
I feel like the reason
it just hurts.
I feel like the reason it got overlooked is because they wanted to highlight, like, the negative got highlighted so much more than the things that should have. Like, you know, and like, you know, I heard there was comments of like, you know, Will got back to his seat and he was like, you know, he's like, don't say nothing about his wife, this and that. And then, you know, heard he was asked to leave and he didn't leave. And so, they probably was dealing with a lot that night. But as far as like what you could cut to, the show still went on. You know, everything calmed down. Everybody was calm after the fact. You know, there wasn't any more like debacle, anything like that. So like, I don't know why they couldn't cut to very important moments in history, you know? But I do feel like it is because they wanted to highlight the violence, like you said, black on black. You know, that's an argument we hear a lot. Like, people would love to ignore racism, and then their counter will be, well, black on black crime is high.
Right.
You know? What does that have to do with the subject at hand right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I do feel like people just loved to see that. You know what I mean? There's no reason why the violence should have, like, it was something to talk about. But I saw Questlove, who I believe also won an award. They tweeted, like, can we please stop talking about this now? Like, yesterday. And it's like, that's the truth. Yeah. Like, everybody, I think the whole entire world is on hand at, like, violence is not the answer. You know? So, like, if we're all on hand with that, like, why are we still talking about it? You know? Let Chris come out and say what he has to say. That's the only comments that I'm listening for now.
You know, like, the media, and that's why I didn't really, in the beginning, like, I didn't understand, like, where the alopecia, like, connection even came from. Because I felt like that was just, like, PC culture trying to save Will Smith, you know, because he's in a sense, this token Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, Tom Cruise type of character, you know, and he's the token black one, you know. So I felt like they were just trying to save him, and you can't really save him from that. It's like he did what he did, you know. Either you agree or you disagree. Like, I don't think that changes his legacy. As far as Chris Rock, yeah, that's the only person I'm trying to hear right now, because, like, I feel like that's what you should have been talking about. That's what we all should have been talking about from the beginning, was, like, damn, like he was a soldier for that. He kept it rolling, but like, how did that affect him?
Right. Right.
But instead, we talking about how that shit affected Jada. We talking about what Will's going through.
Mm-hmm.
We talking about their family as a whole, and like this is scandal under their name. But
right.
Like,
it should have never went that deep though. Yeah. Like it should have been like the only things that should have ever happened is, Will, why'd you do it? You know, and that should have been a time to where if it was more than that, like that's where the real man, like you know, like that's where you can say, okay, that was a real big man move for you to say, hey, it really was more than just the joke. Right. You know? And then
you didn't hear him apologize. Right. You didn't hear him say nothing. Not nothing.
He did. I don't think he did that day, but he did. He's come out and apologized and said that wasn't his actions and this and that. And, you know, you can let the people decide whether or not you believe that came from him or press. You know,
yeah,
so I that's how I feel about that. Let you decide on whether or not you believe it's authentic or not. But he did apologize. He stepped down from the board. I don't believe that he should have his Oscar taken away.
No, definitely
you know,
not.
He put in the work for that. But I do want to know. I want to know how. Not even about the slap. I think we all know how you feel about the slap. I want to know how he feels about Will Smith slapping him. You know, like it would be different. Like you know, like yeah. I'm sure it would have been different if it was Ozzy Osbourne who just came and slapped him across the face. You know, but like Will Smith, you know, like I wonder what their relationship was like prior. I wonder what it's like now. Like that's what I'm looking for. Not to sit here and have the whole media criticize their family. Their kids got nothing to do with this for one. So I don't even know why there's been people trying to bring that into this. You know, like let's keep it at what's at hand. And what's at hand now is like. You know, I think this coming week, we need to pay homage to everybody who got overlooked, who deserved to be looked at. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, I would love, I want to hear Samuel Jackson talk about getting an Oscar, because he been deserved it. You know?
Yeah.
But I will also big up, I want to say it was Denzel Washington and P. Diddy, I think.
Was it?
Who, after the slap, they went and talked to Will. So, I do want to thank. Yeah, I want to thank those brothers because somebody needed to, you know, and I want to thank whoever checked on Chris Rock, you know, and like this is something that should be put at the red table, you know, like I do, maybe not led by Jada, maybe you know, shoot.
I don't know. I feel like. I mean, I guess, yeah, people would tune in for it for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Sure.
Like I think Chris deserves to say whatever he wants to Will Smith. Like, I think he should be able to express his opinions, you know. I wanted to say he should be able to slap him back, but no, we ain't going to promote violence on violence here. But,
look, I mean, it's only right.
Look, it happened,
all I know is if it was me and he walked up to me and slapped me on the street, like.
Not even on the street, on the public platforms.
No, but I'm saying like if it was just on the street, if you walked up to me and slapped me on the street,
it's on.
Like you catching some hands,
it's on.
It's on. And I tell you, we are not losing to no fucking blindside smack. No, not at all, not at all. And so I don't know. I can't say like. Yeah, don't promote violence, but
right.
every action has a reaction.
True.
That is for sure.
True. And then you know one thing I also don't like is I don't know, like people like I guess they're just trying to rally, but I'm like I don't think anybody really believes. You know they're like comedians have like First Amendment rights. I'm like. I think everybody knows comedians gonna say what they want to say. Like this is like nobody in America was like comedians can't say things or you know what I mean. It's just like that's why everybody's like what the fuck like you know like you know but like because even like Jim Carrey spoke on it and I'm like I wish he would have stayed. I just personally feel like he should like just stay out of it. You know, let the people who need to talk about it. You can have your opinion, but to sit here and like start talking about people's character, this and that, you know what I mean? Like one mistake, it was a bad mistake. It was wrong. But Will Smith is not a bad person. Like he made a bad mistake. Like let's draw the line with the two.
Well, and see, I think that's the thing. It almost goes back to like the conversation last week about Kanye. You know, like people make all these excuses, all these look at it in all these different types of light, and like try to prosecute, and then it just gets spun into something it's not.
Right.
When simply it was an action. It was something that happens. You know, we don't know how many times this man Will Smith was probably in the grocery store and fucked somebody up because they wouldn't leave him alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, you and honestly, like that could happen to anybody. Mm-hmm. You know, like, and so I don't think it's this thing that, yeah, it becomes a blemish on his career, you know, but I don't think it doesn't ruin the legacy.
I honestly do think he'll be able to bounce back from it.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of legacy, they supposed to be shooting I Am Legend too. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like he's not making money. Right. I mean, he might have lost a couple endorsements or whatever off of this, you know, but yeah. They gonna be all right.
Right. I mean, and then you have people like the baby speaking on it, and you know he's known. What he said, he's known to be up. I'm gonna have to play that so that I don't get taken down. But the baby sided with him. He's just
well, that's who I was just thinking of when I say probably beat somebody up in the grocery store. The baby done killed two of them in the grocery store. You know, like that's almost what catapulted his career. So I don't know. I could see how a lot of people would agree with that. Right. I mean, and I don't know. Like I said, I gotta applaud Chris Rock because if it was me, it would be real hard to do the same. Right.
It definitely. I think it's how your morals align to. You know, some people really do live by and die by, and that's why you can't be out here playing with people either. And it's not. And that's why I say some people won't even understand it. Like, you know, like. If you ain't never been in a situation or even can't understand what people mean by that, like, you can't play with people's name. You can't play with some people at all, period. Like, you really do have to watch what you say around some people because some people are, it shouldn't be like this, but some people do live their life like that. So you have to protect yourself and know, like, what you do say can have a reaction as well. Because I know people, I've seen people and I know people, you say the wrong thing, like, some serious reactions may happen, you know? Yeah. But I don't think Will Smith aligns his life like that. So if you don't align your life like that, you shouldn't operate like that. And I think that's the biggest thing, you know? But some people who are behind him really do align their life like, you don't play on my name, you don't play on my loved one's name. Like, that's something that will get you killed. Mm-hmm. Some people do live on those terms. And so all I want to say is like, you do have to be careful. You know, you can say whatever you want to, but some people do operate like that. So just be careful, you know? But if you don't align your life like that, don't react off of some words. Like, it's not worth it. It's not even worth that if you do align your life like that, but sometimes it's hard to, you know, what they say, it's hard to teach a monkey new tricks or something like whatever that saying is.
Can't teach an old dog
new
tricks. Oh,
I'm putting monkey on something. But But
no, I feel what you're saying though, and it's I definitely agree with that. Ain't much more you can say about it.
Not at all. I mean, we could
spend. It
wasn't a move, but yeah.